Now here's a planner that was given to me just the other day by a school that's been working hard to try and change what they do. This is a hyperlinked one. I said already, it's a beautiful thing, but if nobody clicks on their computer hyperlink or can't remember where their computer is, that's not going to work. They've got explicit learning goals, obviously. This has got the link to the indicator of progress, the site, and so the teachers go in there and pull out whichever indicator of progress works for this particular concept. They've got, because it's a 5-6, those misconceptions as part of the scaffolding numeracy in the middle years, part of the deceased website are up there. Lots of assessment listed. They also wanted some vocab. Teaching approaches, that school, what does that tell me about that school? Oh no, well I mean the teaching approaches. What's happening there? They've taken the literacy approaches to maths, which I haven't actually seen that in practice, but that would be interesting. And again, they've got just lists of learning activities so that teachers can go in and, as long as they're working their way through those, they can do them in any order they want. Can you see any disadvantages or issues with this planning document?
That's for all teachers to use as a group, or as individual teachers to take that work?
This would be done as a group of the whole unit, the 5-6 level 4 unit, work together to put this together, and then they all take it away and work through. Some may do, that one lesson for their first lesson and that one for their second lesson, but technically all of them work together to put the stuff on the planner, and then they take it away and deliver it in whatever order they want, but they're all aware that the object is to cover all those and that's the goals. You're not happy with that? And I'm not saying that this is...
It's probably quite, because I love that hyperlink one,
Yeah.
but it's done into a really messy.
Yeah.
And
Too much stuff on there? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Great plan. There we go.
Yeah. And you need to be very conscious of that in any plan you do. We don't want some beautiful cobweb documents on the shelf. So again, I say I'm putting these up here not because here's something beautiful, all do this, just because these are things people are using out there, down at the team level. Any other comments on that one?
We're just assessing whether it was actually a term plan or whether that's the routine activities down the side.
That goes on and on, yeah. The thing that struck me about this one when it was sent through to me is I couldn't understand the learning goals, the connection between those learning goals. Yeah, funny, but anyway. Now, I would like the people up the back to share with us your planning document that you just told me about, please.
I want to make sure that there was a scope and sequence as such.
So we work with the staff for probably 5 or 6 professional learning sessions, using the overviews and using multi-grouping, so say prep to 6, and just developed a number continuum, which looks a little bit like this, and it's just in its beginning experimental phases, but it goes across from prep to year 6 and termly, and it's just the development of each area in number. So once we did that, then we worked with staff to come up with, because we found that in some, like in grade 2, some teachers were teaching normal multiplication, and we were quite all over the place really. So as a staff, we just worked on how the operations were developed from prep to grade 6 as well.
We got a lot of that from the indicators of progress as well, which is where the really good stuff is, which we cross-referenced on this. And we were also concerned that working mathematically in structure was being missed out. So again, we tried to ensure that that's in it. Similar to what people have said earlier, at the moment, this and this come on there for measures and so on. This is flexible. We're not saying to staff this has got to be taught in term 1 and term 2. We've taken this to staff, the feedback's been positive. We're looking at kicking it off in January of next year. So we want them to work it so it fits well with them. And so that way we know as a school that we are hitting everything that we need to hit and it is progressive.
Yeah, it's the building blocks, I think, just making sure that everything's progressive. So at the end of the year, we hope to give staff a document which contains these for the operations, the continuum and the giving. So we have done that, but we'll probably do it again next term.
Yeah. And could you just read the headings that you got it down for? Could you say that's for number? Which are the main ones you come up with?
In Prep 1, for example, okay, so we looked at pattern visualisation, fact families, and we were looking at using objects to model and combine bundling, ordering, placing,
And these are,
and pattern.
and a lot of this is from the staff as well as from the vowels.
As
Yeah.
well as from vowels, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a list of ready reckoner things again. Yeah.
We didn't want to make it. We didn't want to make it too wordy because, but we also wanted staff to have ownership because unless they're on board, it's very difficult to get things up and running. And yeah,
I think
it's been fun actually. It's
fun.
been really.
There you go.
Oh, that has
That's
been fun.
And I guess, if I was just to say with this one, Peter Sullivan came in and did a lot of work, and we were also worried about not trying to cram everything in, kind of content fee coverage, just trying to get everything in within a year, but not do it in depth. So we've kind of got a 2-year cycle, whereas for instance, I don't know, in year 2 the main focus there would be time, but you would still touch shape and solid. So again, but you can really go to town with what you do, and you can make it alive, which Peter's very into his open-ended investigations and really make it come alive, rather than, oh, we've got to do it for 2 weeks and then move on to number patterns and then move on. So it makes it more meaningful.
Okay. And so the understanding there is one of those pages is number,
Yeah.
and the other page is all the other things. Yes. So again, emphasis on number, emphasis on simplifying the message, because I said that, I know the first time we were together, or the first time I was with the other group, that writing a whole school plan is an easy thing. The Northern Metro region could have, asked some person on the outside to write a beautiful planner and emailed it around to everyone, and you all could have put it on the shelf and it would have been a gorgeous thing, but nobody would have looked at it at all. So bringing the staff in to work out what is it that we're supposed to teach, what are the key things we're supposed to teach, get agreement about that continuous learning from prep through to year 6, so that everyone can identify exactly where their chunk is as a teacher, what am I responsible for, is very, very important. And you don't get that by somebody writing a beautiful document and sending it to you. You get that by doing the hard yards yourself. This was a handout that was, I hope, emailed to you as well. And I mentioned earlier, not a bad idea while you're drawing up the whole school plan to have a look at what's happening assessment-wise across the school as well, and get people to write down where is the assessment happening, and is it happening equally at each level. I mean, we can probably all bung in the NAP plan and the on-demand testing that's happening at certain levels, but where else is assessment taking place in our school? Just to make sure that there's enough assessment at each level to give us a bit of an idea about what the kids can do and can't do and where to from here. Assuming that you've already come up with those non-negotiables, the next thing you need to work on with staff after that is is spelling. Prioritise the concepts at each level. That's your ready reckoner. You need to be sure that the staff are working on somehow prioritising what is it that we're doing at my level.